we got a big week going on. Lots of stuff happening this week. I'm kind of getting ready for MBF coming out next week on the 7th. We got 4th of July this weekend. Hopefully you guys are maybe doing something fun, or maybe somehow catching some fireworks or something like that. I don't know. They kind of canceled ours here. You can watch them, but they canceled the beach that they're doing them on. So I'm not really sure how we're supposed to watch them. So it could be interesting. But let's just like buckle down, get some work done early this week so we can enjoy a fun weekend. I don't know how you guys felt after last week, but I felt amazing over the weekend. Like I felt like we did all this like great work, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hit an early workout Friday. And honestly, the weekend, I just enjoyed myself. I had fun with my family. I went wakeboarding. We spent time on the water. We went to dinner with some friends. Like I just felt like I equally poured into my business, my health, and my lifestyle as well, like equally last week. I feel so amazing. And remember, you guys, it's not every single day I did all those things, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like all work. Like, you know, Derek would come up to me and I was like, hey, I'm working really hard. And he's like, why are you working? I'm like, hey, listen, I'm working really hard now. So over the weekend, I can just be with the family. Okay. And so I was just really adamant on looking at it at the week as a whole, right? Not every single day, not every day my dishes were done. Not every day did I get a workout in. Not every day did I get to play with Derek like I wanted to. But if I extend out and I kind of take a step back and I look at the week of a whole, I got a lot of work done. I hit some great workouts and I spent a lot of time with my family over the weekend. So we're going to check up last week as a whole as boom, check, check, check. Okay, so remember, you guys, sometimes when you're in that day and you're like, oh my God, I'm working so hard today, or oh my gosh, I'm not getting anything done, like maybe take a step back and be like, okay, am I requiring too much from this day? Like, what am I really setting myself? Like, what did I think I was going to be able to achieve today? Did I really think I was going to be able to get a workout in, get my house completely clean, do all of these meetings, plus hang out with my husband and my kids and plus the laundry? Like that's extensive, you know? And to me, it's like setting yourself up for failure or for a guilt trip because you didn't get the clothes cleaned. Well, because you were playing with your son, right? So sometimes you guys check yourself and say, okay, am I requiring too much from this day? And is there something maybe I could just move to tomorrow that could free up some time so I could quit beating myself up for what I'm doing today, and I can just maybe pour into this one little topic and then push the other one out to tomorrow. So I can fully give myself to this one today and that one tomorrow, rather than trying to cram them in both on today. Okay. So just remember that, you guys, take a step back sometimes and be like, okay, how can I push this out through a week? How can I create a schedule for a week? I have myself one. I'm starting just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just have a little list here, and I'm just writing things down. You guys have a glare, so you can't really see it. You can't see it, glare from the window. But I just put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm just jotting things down that I want to get done this week. But I'm looking at what I already have. Right? Like Monday to me is actually already full. So I'm not putting anything else on this list for Monday unless the things that I already have are done. Okay. But if I have something I need to do, boom, I'm putting it on like Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. So I know that I need to check in with so-and-so. Hey, can I check in with you on Wednesday? Right. So I'm going to start scheduling this week out. I don't know if you guys have ever worked at like an office, but I've worked at tons of offices, scheduling, taking appointments. Yeah, well, I see you over there. And so I've always worked at like dentist office. I've worked at spas. I've worked at hair salons, answering phones, taking appointments. Right now, there are also always a possibility of same day appointments, but ideally, that's not really what you want to do. Okay, so let's push you out throughout the week. Let's schedule you throughout the week. Okay. So I know I want to do a workout post and I want to do this kind of post. And maybe I'll schedule them throughout the week, right? Like maybe I'm going to do my workout post on Thursday. So I maybe set myself up for a good workout video on Thursday instead of like half-ass recording during my workout, you know, maybe I'm just like, no, Thursday, I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm going to step outside in front of my gate. I'm going to have my best outfit on, you know, I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm going to make a good workout video, but that's on Thursday. So I know on Thursday that's coming up. Okay. So guys, I come from an organizational communications background. So organizing and communicating is like what I do. And I have that women and gender studies like underneath. So I also organize women very well. It's like literally what I was bred to do. Here I am coaching and organizing women to be healthy. And I just entered that health factor in there and it was like, boom, there's my whole undergrad in like one is coaching for me. And so I'm going to help you guys get on schedule. Okay. Because if you're just like frolicking, guess what? Nothing's going to get done, right? If you're just over there like guessing you want to get the laundry done or saying it in your head like, that laundry needs done. Okay, but when? How long is it going to take? And where can you do it, right? Like, okay, so on Tuesday, I'm going to watch it. Maybe I'm not going to fold it until Wednesday, right? Like maybe I just know that's not going to happen. And so I just schedule that out so I don't beat myself up on Tuesday because I just know I'm going to fold it on Wednesday, right? Like maybe if I just scheduled that, because that's how I know it's going to happen anyway, then I don't beat myself up because I didn't fold them on Tuesday. I just knew that I was going to schedule them in and fold them on Wednesday. Maybe that's just how my schedule goes. Okay, so get on a schedule. Start writing things down, but don't overload your day. You have the week. Okay, I want you to look at it as a week. Like, what do I want to achieve this week? And how can I achieve it? Because I got 7 days to do it. Okay, so if you know that you want to work out, boom, 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 you want to work out 5 days, pick out those 5 days. And what are you going to do to like self-care on those other 2 days? Schedule that in. Because if you don't schedule it in and you go on Monday and you go, I want to work out 5 days, and all of a sudden you didn't work out Monday and Tuesday, now you know you have to work out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you don't, then what happens? Guilt, shame, and beat yourself up. The spiral happens, right? Because you didn't schedule it, because it's not in your notebook. When it's wrote down, guess what you do? Work out 5 days a week. You do. You guys know you do. When you write it down and it's scheduled and it fits in your lifestyle and you didn't overload yourself, it fits and it feels good. Okay. So really try to get on a schedule, you guys, or some sort of, like I have a calendar right on my phone. This is my calendar right here all the time. Warrior hours in there. I even have after warrior hour, undivided Derek time is in my phone. Okay. Because if I don't put it in my phone, guess what? It probably won't happen, right? And then he'll constantly be saying, hey, Mom, let's play. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to work, I'm going to play, I promise. And then all of a sudden it's 4, and then I'm like, oh, shoot, we got to make dinner. And then, oh, shoot, you got to take a shower and go to bed, you know? And that happens, and maybe that doesn't happen to you, but it happens to me. I will get caught up in work. I will get caught up in cleaning. I will get caught up when Mike gets home. And then I realized I never actually had undivided Derek time, which is very important to me, to have that one-on-one, no phone, no nothing. We just go in his room and we just sit and we play. And I know if I give him that time, that helps him and that helps me too. So just something you guys can think of is start scheduling that time. And you know what's so funny is as I schedule the time, like I will like naturally be playing with Derek as my alarm goes off. And I'll be like, oh shoot, there it is. Like it's funny once you set yourself a schedule and you start following it, you naturally start doing the things before like they're even scheduled, or like before the alarm, or you're already kind of like, there'll be times like where my stomach will growl and my alarm goes off for dinner. Like I have dinner scheduled in my phone, you guys, 6:30 every night, because I will get caught up in stuff. I will just be doing something else and all of a sudden it'll be like 7 or something and Mike will be like, are we eating? And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah. And then I like scramble and trying to make something. But now that I have that alarm at 6:30, there's a lot of times where I'm cooking food and it goes off and I'm like, oh, look at me over here, cooking dinner. Or it goes off and it reminds me, oh yeah, make dinner. You got 6:30. You got to be at least eating something very soon, right? So, yeah, just going into Monday, you guys have a plan for the week. Don't wing it. Don't leave it to chance for the week, okay? Especially if you're like me and you're a mom and you're trying to run a business and a household and you got other things going on and you have a husband that runs his own business and there's a lot that goes on. Don't leave it to chance, okay? All right, I'm going to shift gears a little bit because we are going to move into this Rachel Hollis next 90 days. I believe we are on the final week. This is week 13. I was reading the little blurb under here and it says the last week of our 90-day challenge we wanted to share an honest conversation, blah 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 blah, but it said the last week and so I was like, oh, week 13 must be our last week. So we are it's a long video, so I'm going to break it up into 2 days. So we're going to listen to like half of it today and then we'll listen to the other half tomorrow, but I want to give us maybe 30 minutes and then we'll talk for like 10 minutes and then we'll scoot and then we'll come back and watch the rest of it tomorrow. So let me screen share. Let me get my volume jamming. Okay. You guys see that? Ready? Let's rock and roll. Let's see what she's got to, or let's see what these got to say. This is why prioritizing your wellness is important.
Hello, Next 90 community. My name is Chris Chandler, and I am so excited to bring to you a little discussion, a little round table of answering some of your questions about how to prioritize your wellness. A couple things. What we're going to give you is simply our experiences, and we hope that it encourages you to search for what rings true for you. We truly believe that story is powerful and it allows you to reflect on what you need. So just know that what we're saying is not a, you should absolutely do this. No. It's just so that you can hear a bunch of different lessons that we've learned and maybe you could take that and implement it in your own life. Like I said, my name is Chris Chandler. If you have been to a Rise conference or you saw me at Rise Live, I'm the crazy one that runs around on stage in short shorts trying to get you to move your body, because when we move our body, we change our mind. And I am accompanied today by two colleagues and friends that I look up to, and we are so stinking blessed to have them here as we discuss what it looks like to prioritize wellness at this time. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And first, we have my friend Kat G in the house. Kat, you unmute yourself. Let's do this.
Yes. Greetings. My name is Kat G. I am a senior instructor at SoulCycle. I am also a mom. I'm a lawyer. I'm a wife. I wear a variety of hats like many of you, and I am so excited to be here to talk about wellness and my experiences and so forth. Greetings.
Okay, Kamal, give it to him.
Yes, let's start with the obligatory yes. First, thank you so much, Chris, for having us. Thank you to the Hollis Company, to everyone for joining us. Thank you so much for opening up this space and allowing us to share what we got to share. My name is Kamel Mills, and I am a SoulCycle instructor, a senior SoulCycle instructor. I'm from Houston, Texas, like Miss Cat. Represent H-Town 333. Just like Beyonce. And I also have a nonprofit called Pro Foundations. It's for LGBTQIA youth of color. And really, we're open to anyone that's underprivileged or underserved. I'm an actor, singer, dancer, speaker. I just like to share my gift and try to change the world with that. I am changing the world with that. I'm going to own that.
Yes, 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 yes. So, my friends, you can tell that we have two amazing humans here that are going to share their stories, and I'm going to share my story as well. But we want to start off today just by giving our own Cliff Notes version of our health journey. And within that, kind of what our philosophy is within mental health and physical health. So, Kat, why don't you lead us off?
Absolutely. Well, I actually have been fairly active for most of my life. I played basketball in high school and college and so forth. But when I got to law school, I was still eating as if I was a college athlete, and I had a lot of unhealthy relationships with food. I actually ended up gaining around 50 pounds in law school, graduated, and found myself in a really unhealthy place mentally. I was in a job that I hated. I was suffering from an eating disorder. I was binge eating. I was depressed. It was a really dark time in my life. And so my parents actually intervened and introduced me to a trainer who I only saw once a week, but who ended up being a light in my life. Was the one thing that I looked forward to in that week. And so I ended up losing, however much weight. But the best thing that I took from that experience was I want to be that person that he was for me, for other people. And so I started teaching indoor cycling, and that's sort of how my fitness career began. And so for me, it's not so much a matter of we're in here to work out, but I want to create a space where people feel celebrated, where people feel seen, where if you need that one moment where you feel like where you need to feel something positive, I want to create that space for you. I want to be that light for you. So as far as my philosophy is concerned, when it comes to food and exercising and so forth, cherish your body, fuel it with what it needs, give it what it wants, add a couple of dashes of that, move because you have the privilege to do so. And then most importantly, lean into the people and the moments that feed your happy.
Say that last part again. Just like that last one right there.
Can we put it on the t-shirt? Lean into the people and the moments that feed your happy.
Amen. That is the foundation that we're working from with Kat. Amazing. Thanks, girl. Kamel, give it to us.
Honey, yes, Kat. I'm trying to get the buffet of happy, okay? 2 scoops, 3 scoops, several helpings. So how I started in fitness, I guess. I, like Kat, I have a history with eating disorder. I suffered from bulimia. I mean, I guess in the beginning of high school, I realized that I was wanting to be wanted. So I was always heavy growing up, and I was like, I gotta get cute and real quick, and I took the cheap, unhealthy route and it was, I say it's cheap, but it was actually very expensive on my soul to oh, there's a bee, honey. Sorry. It was very expensive on my soul. I then started dancing, and dancing was a way to get that exercise. It was a way to express myself artistically. Who doesn't want to twerk? And I found Soul Cycle because of dance musical theater. And I have to say, Soul Cycle literally changed my life, but also saved my life. I think it's interesting because I thought I wouldn't have I thought that I would like Soul Cycle. I thought it was no room for me there, but it ended up being more than enough space for me. And I always say it changed from a Lindsay Lohan to a Beyonce. And then, and a part of my nonprofit is wellness and helping people like myself who thought, that boutique thing is not for me, or that, I don't have time for that. I just need to diet, or I need to go jogging. But you can find something very special like Soul Cycle that feeds your happy. And that's my story with wellness. My philosophy about physical and mental wellness is kind of like a relationship. It's two very both partners, the physical part and the mental part. If one of them is lacking, then the relationship suffers. Your life is the relationship, and if one is showing up and one's not showing up, it becomes toxic, and you just have to find a way. And something that I'm sure you both are working on, and it's a constant practice versus perfection, working on how to balance that. Just like any other relationship, trying to figure out that balance and honoring that balance.
I love it. Thanks, Kamel. What I think that is good for us to explain is that just because Kat, Kamel, and I have platforms and we lead fitness classes, that doesn't mean that we have it all figured out. It means that we decided to take a leap of faith and step into the leader that we know we are, and decide to travel alongside people, not preach from up above, if you know what I'm saying. My own personal journey is one that has so many different twists and turns. I first became aware of my weight that my body caused other people discomfort when I was in elementary school, and I was following the food pyramid. If you've been at Rise, you've heard this story. And I am a rule follower to a T. Like I don't like making other people uncomfortable. And so I followed the food pyramid. On the bottom of the food pyramid, it says 8 to 12 servings of grains a day. And so I was like, I trust you, food pyramid. I'm going to be the healthiest little first grader you've ever met. And so what did I do? I ate 8 to 12 servings of bread, AKA 8 to 12 slices of bread every single day while sitting on the couch watching Arthur the Aardvark. Okay. I wasn't moving my body. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to. And of course, my body started to change. And that's when people started to treat me differently. And I noticed that people didn't like that I looked different, or that I was quote unquote bigger, or they would say mean things. And so I trying to make sure that I was being peaceful and following the rules, tried to make sure that I was okay in other sites. So like in 8th grade, I played football and there was a weight limit and I was over the weight limit, and I would do something that was drastic in order to get myself to the weight limit. And I would try to alter my body through restricting food so that girls would like me in high school. Of course, I was in the closet. I'm in an actual closet right now, but I'm not out of the closet anymore, honey. I got a husband. Hey. And I know this is kind of jumping around, but I want you just to get the gist of it, is that, and then in 2013, my father passed away. And after my dad died, I know that I needed something. I needed to connect to my inner guide and also move my body. And I know that, number one, my mental health and my physical health are inextricably entwined. That's why, like when we say at the Hollis Company, when you move your body, you change your mind. I found that when I started to move my body, AKA I signed up for a marathon out of nowhere. I was like, I'm going to do this challenge, and which is crazy. But I allowed my runs to be a therapeutic place for me. I allowed that place for me to grieve, to process my feelings, to notice what it was like to push myself to my edge of what my body was saying, but then also at the same time push myself to the edge of feeling so that I could be my most honest and true self. And after I did my marathon, I swore I would never run a marathon again. And so I wanted to make sure that I found that same therapeutic feeling, that same like euphoric high of being true and honest with myself after moving my body or while moving my body. And I couldn't find that elsewhere until I found SoulCycle. And I promise you, this is not an ad for SoulCycle. This is just something that all three of us have in common and that we decide to use our gifts and talents for. But it was a place where I found that when I moved my body, I was able to be truthful with myself. And so all those things, and I was able to grieve and feel whatever I needed to feel. So all those things have influenced my philosophy when it comes to physical health. Is I do something to feel a certain way, that I do something to feel a certain way. And so with my past, with restriction and all that other stuff, I don't own a scale in my house. That's just something that works for me. Sometimes people need a scale in order to match their progress or whatever. That's not something that I do. So here's what I do, just a helpful tip that maybe it could work for you. 80 to 90% of the time when I eat something, I say, thank you for blessing my body because it's nutrient dense, because it's going to give me energy, because it's going to make me feel my best from the inside out. And then I also know that food is cultural and emotional and holds memories and it holds energy. And so 10 to 20% of the time, I say, thank you for blessing my heart, meaning that it soothes this other part of me other than just seeing food as fuel. And I think there's what we're talking about here is balance. Like, you're not going to work out every single day and push your body to your edge because that's what we need to do. No, rest is a function of growth. And so when we have these balances together, that's when beauty can come out of places where you didn't even feel like you could grow from barren soil. So that's my mentality. That's why I teach Soul Cycle. That's why I guide people to be more in tune with the foods that they're eating and so on and so forth, so that we can lead to a place of balance to feel a certain way. Okay. I feel like the stage is set. So let's go to answer some of your questions, y'all. First things first, how do you convey that your health is important without it feeling like you're being selfish? So some context of taking time for yourself. A lot of the people in this community are moms, are dads, have so much on their plate. And so thinking of taking time for yourself can feel like, oh my gosh, I should be giving it to other people, or I should be spreading myself so thin. But when it comes to me, I'll just put that on the back burner. So how do you make sure that you prioritize your health and just also kind of fight that voice in your head where it says, you're being selfish? Let's see. Kat, you want to talk first?
You see me unmute myself?
Yeah, she's like, I'm ready.
Things to say. Well, I mean, like in the same way that I mentioned this, but I mean, I wear those hats. Right? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a Soul Cycle instructor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm all of these things. And one thing that I repeat to anyone, my husband specifically and myself specifically, is that I cannot be any of those things fully if I'm not taking care of myself. You've heard it before. You cannot pour from an empty cup, cannot. And so for me, it is imperative that I prioritize my health. Imperative. It is actually selfless. I am the best mommy when I am healthy, period. That is an objective fact. So I say that to myself regularly. Yeah, these are facts.
Do you find yourself when you're out of that balance? Like, I call it, like, when I'm getting hungry, I get hangry, or when I'm getting tired, I get tangry. When I'm getting burnt out, I get bangry. I don't know. You know, do you find that is your experience too? Absolutely. I mean, like, when people say like, oh, you get endorphins from working out, that is fact. Like, I feel better. And not only the short-term benefits of taking care of your health exist, but long-term, I'm creating a healthy environment for my family. I'm being a role model for my son. So it's for you to when you prioritize your health, you are helping everyone around you. So, and also I'm just so much easier to deal with.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Kat, how do you ever look up and realize that, as someone that, I know how confident you are and how accountable you are. Do you ever though look up and be like, whoa, I'm in that zone where do you ever look up and realize that you haven't prioritized yourself? Or, you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. I think that, and I mean, we can talk about this a little more later, but I do think that it's really important when you have a day that you haven't done all that you need to do, to be kind and to show yourself grace and to start over the next day. Right. And so, yeah, there are definite times where I look back on my schedule and I'm like, oh, I didn't get to do the 30-minute run that I intended to do today. And so you have to be flexible. And maybe that means that I pull up a YouTube video for Mommy and Me Yoga and do a nice, 15-minute movement session with my kid because because my kid's not napping again for the rest of the day. So I don't have time to physically leave the house. Right. So yeah, it happens all the time. And if you can't fit anything in today, then you start over again the next day.
Kamel, what are your thoughts?
I think what I see vividly from your words, and you actually said the word cup. I always go back to that. And a cup is such a powerful image to me because, water is life. And selfish, the word selfish is so funny because I think it was Ivania says, like, it's not selfish, it's self-full. You have to be full. You have to fill up your cup in order to pour from it. And if you don't fill your cup up, you make the people that you're giving to a thief and they don't even know it. Right? So I make a lot of people a thief because I don't know, there's a term, and I read it somewhere a while back, like a overcompensation thing that I do for people that I love, because some people try to say that it's a way to make up for that a lot of gay men do this for making up for putting their family through it or coming out, and it was like, oh, let me just do everything for you and like, let's forget the past kind of thing. Does that make sense? And I think that that's like a syndrome that I'm still recovering from. And every time I become better at spacing things out and like trying to fill my cup. If I try something else or do something else, a new project, then I go back to zero. And what I'm trying to do, the word Kat said was compassion, trying to be kind to myself and just realize it's okay. I've never done this human thing before. I'm new to it. Like it's my first round. It's okay to not have it figured out. And being kind and compassionate and treating yourself like you treat the people that you love, right? Treating yourself like the people that you love is important and will help you ultimately give yourself permission to fill up your cup.
I want to piggyback something on just something that you just said, because I think it's really powerful. Kamel, having known you for years, and I know that there are a lot of people who are listening to this who can also relate to this. You are an empath and you're a giver. And so you have a tendency to give so much of yourself to the people around you, to celebrate, to support them, to love them, to make them feel seen. Right. But in doing that, you forget about self. So this is what we're talking about, right? This is what it means to feel selfish by prioritizing your health. And I think what you said at the end is so important, to give yourself permission to prioritize your health. And in doing that, you're going to be able to continue to love in the way that you love. You're going to be able to be the best version of you and give to the people around you because you're the best version of yourself, because you refill in that cup. So give yourself permission. I thought that was just really powerful with what you just said. So I wanted to add to that.
I love you.
I think this is a question that I feel like a lot of people ask. And so part of the Next 90 challenge is that this was started by Rach and Dave, and they said that we want to focus on this time, meaning quarantine, and become the best version of ourselves by the end of it. And what I would love to talk about with y'all is, how do we show compassion and grace to the journey that we've had in the past 13, 14 weeks when it comes to maybe the choices that we've made, maybe things that we're proud of, things that we're not proud of, or any of those. I mean, for me, I went from teaching 12 classes a week to not teaching any classes, to working at home, to being quarantined in a house with my husband and 3 dogs, and they're amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's the same thing every single day. And so how do we show grace and compassion to the journey that we've been on? Maybe it's not even just the 13 weeks of quarantine, but maybe it's something in our past too. How do you make peace with that is maybe my question.
you have to lean into it, and it's it's one of those things. There's so much uncertainty, right? And when you lean into stuff you don't know, you have to conjure up faith. And I think it's I don't know if you know anything about tarot cards, but there's a card called the Fool card, and like, it's not being a fool, but it's being foolish enough to go for what you need to go for. And I think that compassion is going to come when you have the faith to lean into what's happening. And you talked about this, Chris. You said something about what happens in the rest, and like what comes to you in the rest. In music, it's called a caesura. And I remember my choir teacher was like, the caesura is just as important as the note of music. Like the silence, the rest is just as important. And I think now that we have a caesura lifestyle where we have to rest and see what's in there, and it's a blank space. So what is it? It's the uncertainty, and that's scary. That's unknown. It's troubling, because we love the familiar, and we want to know what's going on because we got shit to do. But calling on faith is what I think is what will get you through, or what will be the vehicle to drive you to where you need to go.
I think that perspective and grace go hand in hand in these situations. Like, I like to, when I'm in the middle of a storm, and I think that we can all say that when we're in the middle of a storm, it's difficult to see how to remove yourself from it, right? It's difficult to understand that you're equipped for whatever it is to move yourself out of it. And so perspective is key. And what I like to do is reflect on the moments I'm most proud of in my life historically. Like, every moment that I felt darkness, or I was told no, or I felt alone and I continued to fight, those are the moments that I'm most proud of. And so when I think about the past 13 weeks and how, it's difficult to go from teaching, classes a week for me and to not teaching anything, and therefore, and then trying to find ways to be active when my go-to workouts are no longer available. And then you're right, being around my husband and my son and my dog, that's it consistently. To say, like, to take a step back and say, this is difficult, but I've been through worse. And I may have not made the same decisions that ideally I would have liked to make for my health and my wellness, but tomorrow's a new day. And I'm ready for this. And so what I like to do is repeat things that make me feel powerful in those moments, whether it's simply, I've got this, I'm ready. Why am I ready? Because I know what I've been through. And because I know what I've been through, tomorrow, let's go.
You said something, storm. That word is always so interesting to me. I grew up in the church, and my pastor used to always say, you either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or about to go into one. You're in a storm, coming out of one, you're about to go into one. And, every storm is different. And so I feel like COVID is a storm, right? And I feel like it's a multi-headed monster that you chop it down and more heads come out. So I feel like it's giving birth to different storms. And I am going through a storm myself. Like I'm going through a breakup, and it hurts so bad and it's a different kind of breakup. It's a different kind of pain. And so I like to say, Kat said what she likes to say in the storm. I like to remind myself that I am the storm. I possess something that something should be afraid of. I possess the skill set and the power and the endurance that something should be getting ready for me. And whatever I got to get through, I want to come out so strong that the storm is like, oh, well, damn, that happened to me. That happened to me. Chris happened to me. Cat happened to me, or Camille happened to me.
I love that.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there for about 27 minutes. And I definitely wanna kind of touch on some of the stuff that they talk about here. Sorry, I'm reading the chat real quick. Alicia, you'll have to remind me what that was in reference to, because I didn't see it until just now. Okay, so let's touch on a little bit of what they're talking about, which is perfect because we're all here from like a health perspective, right? So it's kind of cool to hear this little bit of a reminder. And also, it always makes me feel good when I feel like we know this. Like, I mean, even though it's always good to hear that reminder, I love that I can call it a reminder for us than like a, oh my God, we didn't know about that. You know, I'm like, oh, we've got the health part down. Like, that's why you guys are all still here 4 months later and not falling apart. Right? Like, yeah, maybe we are dealing with our own storm, right? Like, everybody's dealing with their own storm. We all are, trust me. And I'm sure if I individually asked every single one of you what you've been going through for the last 4 months, whew, I can only imagine some of the stories that we could hear and talk about and converse about. And some of us might be like, wow, hers is a lot worse than mine. And some of us might be like, wow, hers seems pretty breezy. But you know what I mean? They're all our own storms. And that's the thing is, like, it's not a chance to like compare yourself. It's a chance to say, wow, she's going through something too. Regardless of whether I think it's a storm or not, she's going through it, right? And so maybe we can have a little bit more compassion to know that everybody is going through it. You know, I think that was one thing back when I was going through like Hurricane Harvey, it was so weird to watch people go through their normal lives as I was dealing with what I was dealing with. It was so hard to be sitting in a hotel, not even being able to walk out to our car because the flooding was so bad, knowing that my house was completely underwater, my car was completely gone. We're stuck on this second story of this hotel, and my whole city is underwater, but yet people I know back in Ohio are going through their motions. That was so hard for me to understand. And I was just like, I'm sitting here dealing with this while you're just going on with your very own day. And so I think that's what's very unique about dealing with COVID is everyone is on the same page. Whether you are an NBA basketball player or a stay-at-home mom, you were affected by this. And I think that's so interesting to me to see how everyone has their own way of dealing with it. Nobody is exclusive. Nobody is not at some point affected by it, right? And so I think that's really interesting that to just see how everybody is affected differently, but it's not something you're going through and I'm not, right? Like, this is something we are all collectively dealing with, which I think is very interesting. Like, we're all in the same storm. It's not like, oh, you're dealing with your storm and I'm over here frolicking in the bushes. No, like, we are all in the same cloud. We're all in the same storm. Now, maybe the way it's affecting you might be a little worse than so-and-so, like, right? Like, maybe you lost your job. Maybe so-and-so is still working. But again, just because so-and-so is still working doesn't mean that her work didn't completely change. Right? And just because maybe I'm a stay-at-home mom and I work from home, that didn't change. But trust me, there's a lot of change because the only time I did get to go out, or the only time I did go out, now was taken from me. You know? So don't think that just because I was a stay-at-home mom and now, oh, well, you get to stay at home, isn't that kind of like what you were already doing? Yeah, but now I can't even go out for the few times that I would. And those were my lifeline. That trip to the grocery store was my lifeline, right? That 2 hours at the beach that I got by myself every week was gone. Now I have to continue sitting in the house. So, you know, everybody had their way of having to deal with it. Everybody did. whether you were at work and had to start wearing a mask at work or start taking temperatures for people at work. You know what I mean? So, but you were still getting paid, but you were still dealing with your own storm. Okay. So everybody kind of has their own thing. Okay. I'm going to pop over here, Alicia, during COVID. Trying to become better during COVID. Yeah. It was interesting to hear like they're becoming better in COVID. And one's like, I'm going through a breakup. And I was like, but I think also there's a sense of realness there too. You know, like we can still be going through things and becoming a better person at the same time. I know that's hard to experience or to think about, but maybe COVID exposed something to these people that they realized they had an area they needed to work on. And maybe it was their relationship, right? And they maybe realized that their relationship was not what they thought it was, which is what hey, Derek, close the door. No. No. Hold on, 1 second. You're not allowed to check the mail because of last.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I know. You can check it after I'm done. Sorry, guys. You won't check it at all today, if that's how you're going to be. Yeah. He checks the mail like 5 times a day. He like loves checking the mail. Okay, so
I'll go check the mail.
you do. Do you want to say hi to the girls?
Hi, girls.
There we go. Okay, so I loved the little saying, like buffet of happiness. I don't know if you guys caught that little saying there, but like I just think of it as like I just want my life to be like a buffet of happiness. And I loved that idea too of how they were talking about balance, because it was funny, we were just talking about that like right before we played the video of just get inside. Oh my gosh, hold on.
Oh, look.
We'll check it out when we're done. We will just check it out. Okay?
That's dangerous.
Is it?
Someone tap into someone's house.
Okay, well, we'll go check it out in a little bit, okay?
Excuse me, for the dog of your meeting, we're going to go in there and see what happens.
Okay.
Look. And
Okay.
you
Video it. I think there's just an ambulance down the street from us. He's like, something happened. That's okay. They're
Mom.
taking care of it, okay?
Mom,
They got heroes down there.
excuse me, Mom.
Yes.
The dog of your meeting, we're going to go there and see what happens.
Okay.
I think
Okay, but let me finish my meeting. Maybe. Why don't you go pray? Go pray for him.
we're sick.
Maybe. Hope not.
Mom.
Nope.
Mom, can I have your phone and say
No.
No, I'm just going to
Sorry.
say why Papa did an ambulance here and
No. I'm using my phone for the internet. Okay. I love you. I'm sure they're fine. They got an ambulance down there. Okay, they're gonna take care of them.
can you watch them after your meeting?
Yes. If you let me finish my meeting.
Sorry, girls.
Okay. So let me go back to that saying of buffet of happiness. Like I love that idea of having a buffet of happiness. But you guys, that's not going to happen if you're constantly, I think sometimes, I don't know if you guys, for me, like when I'm searching for happiness, like I just want everybody to be happy. Like sometimes when I'm trying to force it, that's like the last thing that happens, right? Like when you go into your family and you're just like, everybody's just gonna have a good time, you know, and you're like, ugh! Like it's like a rule, you know? It's like sometimes I think we have to realize that the happiness comes when we have a sense of wholeness, okay? No.
I'm a server.
Thank you. Just brought me a whole pie. And so when we are balanced, that's kind of cool that we like talked about that in the beginning. So when we're balanced, then that's how we create whole happiness. Okay. So when we're feeding into our work, when we're feeding into our passion, when we're giving to ourselves, when we're giving to our family, when we're giving to our husbands and kids, but also when we give to ourselves, right? I am one selfish SOB, for real. Okay?
I'm sorry,
I am a very selfish person, like naturally. I actually had to unlearn.
By my mom.
Stop. Stop. I know, but you're talking over me. I'm talking. You can't talk while I'm talking, okay?
Mom, I'm right here.
No. No.
Mom, I'm right.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Excuse me, don't get mad at me.
I don't want to get mad at you, but you're not listening. Okay? I'm like watching him. Okay. Blah. But I'm a very selfish person. I actually had to learn to be a little less selfish actually in my life. But I realized that actually selfish was an okay trait to have, right? Like actually taking care of myself, feeling good in my body, and knowing that I'm on track helps my entire family, right?
Hearing?
Yes.
I told you.
I know. I hear the ambulance. It's okay.
Because something happened.
It's okay.
And now I was trying to be a doctor.
Well, you have to go to school and you can be a doctor. You gotta go to school.
No, I gotta go to a doctor. And I gotta go and learn.
Yeah, that's school.
Yes. A dentist can be a school to teach.
You want to be a dentist?
A
You're
doctor
funny.
and a dentist.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm distracted a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Obviously. I'm like, what are they talking about? Balance, right? Like somewhere in there.
Sorry, girls.
It's okay, bub. You don't have to apologize. It's okay. Okay. But I did have something else written down. So let's talk about that. So I have 80% fuel, 20% heart for nutrition. I wrote that down because I really enjoyed that part of just like saying thank you to my food. Like it may sound silly, but I actually really enjoyed that like little tidbit of like saying thank you for fueling my body correctly, right? So like I'm eating this and I have purpose for it in my body. Thank you for doing what you do in my body. Okay. And then I love that 20%, like, thank you for like soothing my soul. Thank you for giving me that just warm feeling. Like, I don't know about you guys. I love like soup. Soup warms my soul. Like chicken soup for the soul. I guess it's so silly. But like, it literally, like when I drink it, it just brings this like calming sense to me. Like I'm just like relaxed. I've just got my soup and like it just brings like old memories from like when my mom used to make huge pots of soup when I was younger and stuff. And so not only am I thankful for the way it makes me feel, like it's good soup, it fuels my body, it fills me up, but it fills me up also on another level of like my soul and my heart and it makes me feel good, you know? So I just love that of like just saying thank you to our food. Just like you would say thank you to your own body for moving or being able to move. Like, wow, thank you for lasting through that whole MBF workout. Thank you. You know, you can say thank you to your body and thank you to your heart and thank you for the workout. And that keeps us in that sense of gratitude as well. Okay. I thought this was very interesting and I really want to talk about this just real quick and then we'll scoop. As we let people continuously take from us, or we choose to continue to give and give and give. I love that they said we literally make people a thief without them even knowing it. I don't know how many times that you have done this or I have done this where I've just given myself to people and I've given myself like way past my limits, right? Like way past my limits, but yet I didn't speak up and say that. So one, how would they ever know my limits, right? And if I constantly say yes, then that's what they're used to. So they're going to keep coming to me for information or for whatever they need. And I'm not setting any boundaries, right? Like I'm not setting any like, hey, that's my limit. And if I just keep saying yes, 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 and I just keep giving and giving and giving, and then I start to feel resentment towards this person because they keep asking me for information, but yet I have never set my standard for what is possible for them, right? I've never said, hey, that's my limit. I've never said, hey, I'm done at 9 o'clock. Don't message me after 9, right? I've never stood up and said that. So at 10 o'clock and they're messaging me every night and I'm responding, what kind of signal am I giving them, right? And they're becoming a thief of your time, of your energy, and of your centeredness, you know, and your wholeness, because you're not setting your own boundaries, though, is what I always think it comes down to, is that you're creating thieves without them even knowing it, and then getting resentful because they continue to ask you for things. But yet, we have never said that. I saw you. Good. Maybe they're taking him to the hospital, okay?
No, you missed it.
I saw it.
No, I thought I was going to take a picture of it.
Well, for what?
I'm so excited to be a doctor.
Okay. We'll take a picture of it next time. Hopefully there isn't a next time, but we'll get a picture of the next one. But I just think it's very interesting. But then get mad at people for continuously asking us to do things, right? Or getting upset because so-and-so just keeps asking me for this, when maybe I haven't taken the time to teach them how to do it themselves, right? Like, I get annoyed when Derek asks me for hot dogs, but yet I know he can make them himself. But have I taken the time to show him how to do it himself, right? And then I can encourage him and remind him, hey, you can do that yourself. Hey, you can do that yourself. You can get your own ketchup. You can get your own plate. You can get your own hot dogs. Put them in the freaking microwave. You got this, right? Like, I have to kind of encourage him and motivate him. But then there's going to be a time where he just goes and makes his own, and he doesn't need me because I've empowered him to do it for himself, rather than just continuing to enable him, right? Good job.
That's the plus.
I see that. Yeah. I was reading your comment over here, Nicole.
Why are you doing that?
I agree. I think Mike and I, my mic, you have a mic and I have a mic. We came out stronger on the other side of quarantine as well. I mean, it really gave us a chance to kind of like focus on our family, focus on our time, focus on our relationship. And to be honest, you know, guys, we were only three months into our marriage, you know. I mean, thankfully we were 7 years already into our relationship, but you know, it was definitely not the newlywed months that I expected. You know, we had to cancel our honeymoon. We had to cancel our trips. We had to cancel all of that stuff. And that really could have broken us, right? Because we were supposed to have this just beautiful, picture perfect first year of marriage, go on a honeymoon, and all of this stuff. And when the storm came in, right, like, we could have easily threw like a huge pity party for ourselves. But instead, I said, well, you know what? Maybe this time is here for us to just put our heads down, focus on us, and just ride this out and get through it. We've been through worse. And it was kind of cool to hear her say that, even because, to be honest, Mike and I have been through worse, right? Like, we've been through something to where we didn't have a home. We lost an entire vehicle. We had no money sitting in our bank account, and neither of us were working during Harvey, you know? And so when quarantine came up, I was like, we got a roof over our heads. We're both still bringing in money. Our son is fine. We have a vehicle that works.
Nope.
And I've got a community of women to actually lean on and be supported by too. And so when I thought about it, when quarantine started happening, I go, well, we've been through worse. This can't be as bad as da 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 da, you know? And so sometimes, and now I know that may be hard, like, maybe you haven't been through worse, right? Like, maybe this is your worst. Maybe you're like, holy crap, I've never been through anything like this. I've never had such a restriction, or I've never been so caught off guard, or, you know, But just so you know, now you have this in your pocket. So when the next thing happens, you're going to go, oh, I've been through worse. I made it through quarantine. I made it through quarantine with my kids and my husband, and we didn't have any jobs, and we had to apply for assistance, and we had to get all this stuff. And during that time, it was a real struggle, but I made it. I survived. I came out the other side, a different person, right? So maybe now this is your worst storm, right? No, so now you can use this for the next time that you need to be reminded how capable you are, how strong you are. I see. But I have a past storm. You know, I have past storms. I have past storms that I go, this ain't so bad. You know, I'm like, I can do this. I mean, it's not like fun. I mean, it's not what I would rather do, but I'm capable, right? I can shift. I can pivot. I've done this before. I could do this again, right? And when you just get into that mindset of like, oh shit, but let's shift, you know? You can cuss a little bit if you have to, earmuffs, you know? No. You know, if you got to kind of get it out, like, you know, she's like, dang, that's not what I planned. But that's all right, because who knows what's good or bad, right? Who knows what's good or bad? Maybe had I gone in that honeymoon, maybe something would have happened then. You know, you never know. You never know. Right?
Hey, can I try a metal one?
What?
Metal.
Metal what?
Can I
Oh,
try
you want to
one?
try one of Mama's medals on? How about the orange one? You a hero? He likes my Beachbody medals. So, you guys, the storm will provide. Okay. The storm will provide. If you have ever seen The Good Dinosaur, that movie actually, right before Harvey happened to Mike and I, we had bought that movie on Amazon Prime and watched it. And as Harvey was happening, I remember being like, wow, this is a crazy storm. And I remember saying the word storm and being like, wow, but what if this storm provides us the new life we were supposed to have?
Hey, I know that dinosaur
Yeah.
movie.
Why don't you go put it on? Why don't you go put it on A Good Dinosaur and we'll watch it when I'm done. Go find it. Go put it on?
I'll put this on you.
Okay. Thank you. I got them out of line. But you guys, I remember when that happened, and I remember looking at Mike and I was just like, maybe this storm will just provide us the new life we're supposed to have. I remember just saying that, and him, and it being just like this kind of something I just instantly held on to. Like the moment it came into my head, I just held on to it, because in the movie, there's this part where the storm came through, the pterodactyls come back in, and they're looking for critters. They're looking for critters because the storm will always provide the food that they need. Okay, so they're looking for critters. And so the thing is, oh, the storm will provide the food we need. Okay, and so I really held on to that quote during Harvey. I mean, it really got me through it, of like, the storm will provide what I need. The storm will provide. If you can get through the storm, afterwards will come your rainbow. Afterwards, life will be provided for you. If you can make it through, if you can just get through, right? Not perfectly, not like frolicking, not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a storm. Like, you're sheltered. You're gonna get some thunder. Stop. We'll put the movie on. You can get through that storm. The rainbow's gonna come. And it will provide what you need. I can guarantee you. I promise. All you have to do is step up into faith. That's where it is. Boom. Step up into faith and say, that might be right. I can go with that. I can believe that. Right? Like, what if you just said, Okay, Jenny, I'll humor you. I'll humor you and start absorbing that mindset of what if we're going to be fine? What if the storm really does provide the life you were supposed to be living all along? Because for me, it did. Not that I didn't love my life in Texas, but without the death of my life in Texas, the life born in Florida, I would have never known existed. And I love my life in Florida. The person I've become in Florida, the community that I've built in Florida would have never happened had that storm not provided it for me. Okay? So, Tessa, yeah. But so you guys just know the storm can always provide for you. Okay? Be patient. It's not going to provide when you think it should. It's when you least expect it. But it's when you keep the faith regardless, through it all. Okay? So keep the faith that whatever is happening is right on time. It's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. You are right on time. Okay? Right on time. You're perfectly on schedule. Perfectly. You're not going too slow. You're not far behind. You're not fast tracking. You're right on time. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Have faith that you're capable of dealing with it. You're capable of being patient. You're capable of getting through this because you've been here before. Everything that's happened, you have fully survived and come out the other side. There's no reason as to why you can't do it again. Right? And then maybe you guys can be sitting here with little medals on your necks too, or something to get you guys all like warrior medals. But I do kind of feel pretty powerful sitting here with a medal on my neck. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do kind of feel like like strong, like a warrior. You know? And maybe sometimes you just need to remind yourself that, you know? Sometimes maybe you need to be a little selfish and do something that reminds you what a freaking warrior you are, what a badass you are. So when you get off here, I want you to say that. I want you to walk away feeling like, man, I am a freaking warrior. Wow, I really have dealt with a lot. Wow, I really have survived all of that. Wow, my husband and I really have come out the other side. Or we're continuously working through it. And I'm not giving up. Right? Like, what if you just left here thinking that? Like thinking in that mindset of you're capable. And if I just trust that I'm capable, I promise the strength will come. You're going to surprise yourself because you have so much strength inside of you, you don't even give yourself credit for. Right? But if you would just take ownership of the amount of strength in your body, watch yourself rise to the occasion. Seriously, because you're going to. You're going to rise to every freaking occasion when you just believe you're capable of it. Okay? So rise, girl. Rise, rise, rise. You are so capable of rising. You just got to believe that in your heart. Okay? Comes from a belief. You guys know when you're like looking at somebody and you're like, wow, she just knows something special. You have a secret in there. She just holds her head high. It's faith. She trusts herself. She trusts that when the situation arises, that the decision will come to her. Okay? Trust yourself and have faith that you're smart. Okay? All right. So we're going to end on that. Tomorrow we will come and watch the rest of that video just to kind of see where they rounded up at.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday we will do something a little different. I'm going to see kind of what all they touch on and see if there's something that we can continue or if it's something we want to do completely different. And then Thursday is music day, song day, and Derek's going to play you guys a song on Thursday. And then Friday, I believe we're just going to do workout again. Friday will be workout. Shh, I can't talk and have you whisper in my ear at the same time. We'll do a song for you after I get off here. Okay, thank you. All right, guys. My alarm just went off for undivided Derek time, so he's on his timer right now. So I love you guys, but I will see you guys in a little bit. Make sure you do the MVF. Get a chance to try it out. If not, hopefully the sample will be up for a while. But extra muscles. You want to take a picture? Here, I'll take a picture. Okay. And the girls that are on here. All right, everybody. Show them your muscles. Woo! That is really cute. Good idea. All right, ladies. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a good day. Message me if you need anything. Bye. Oh, I'm going to go down here to this little red button. Right here. Yep. Here, click. And then click the other red button.
Bye.